So good. All right, so my name's Barry. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK. So if you'd like to purchase anything from us, links to our online shops can be found down below in the description. Okay. Yeah, so this week, or these videos, Fun Fold Friday happens every week on a Friday at 6 o'clock. They are normally sometimes pre-recorded or live if we are, depends on how organised I am with you basically. But I like to show you a different Fun Fold card each week. So they may not be it may not be a brand new Fun Fold card, but it will be fun. It will be a new fold to me, or something which I haven't done, or something which one of you have requested to watch as well, or haven't been able to make and would like a video tutorial. So if you do have any requests, then please do make sure you send us an email. I just popped the email address up on the screen right now, so barryandj@mitosucrafts.com. Just pop an email over with a picture of, or a link to one of the cards you would like to see, and I will have a go at doing it. So barryandj@mitosucrafts.com, and I will have a go at doing it. Yeah, so please get your request in. There we go. You can all hear me. Thank you. I'll have to edit those 3 minutes out of me waffling at the beginning. So good. So yeah, so I'm going to crack on. So as mentioned, I am going to be playing with the Poinsettia Petals Stamp Set this evening. This is one which has been around for a little while now. Luckily, it's also going to be available all the way until to the middle of next year, or at least until the next annual catalogue comes out, which will be next year. So if you like it, you still have time, plenty of time to get hold of this. And it's actually a really, really lovely set. So I'm just revisiting some older sets at the moment, so which is good. So thank you all for joining me. So I went through all of your names, but you probably didn't hear me sooner. But now the thing is that there's more of you in now, which has commented, which is now going to make it harder for me. So let's say hi to everyone. So we have Angelina, hello. We have Betty, Carol, the Bling Bling Crafter. Who else do we have here? We have also got Louise, Gian, Mum, or Sandra to everyone else. Christine, Denise, Kathy, Debbie, Claire, Zita, and who else have we got? Denise. I think you've got two shouts out there. Two shouts out there, Denise. So good. So thank you all for joining us. Please do pop a comment in, because this is live. I can see your comments live here if I'm looking up at the screen, obviously that is, and I don't have Jay here keeping an eye on everything for me. But hey ho, I will crack on and I will see how I get on with tonight's Fun Fold Friday. So I'm going to go camera down and let's show you how to create this card. Let me just give you a little bit of light. There we go. So excellent. So this is the card I'm going to be showing you how to make. So it's a double gatefold card, and I just love the decoration on this. The hardest part for this card is actually the decoration. The fold itself is really, really simple. So I'm actually going to leave the fold part until much later on. I'm going to do a lot of decoration first. But as mentioned, I'm going to be using the Poinsettia Petals Stamp Set, paired that with the Poinsettia dies. So that's this one right here, and these are the dies. So the dies coordinate with the stamp set quite nicely, so you can punch out your stamped images. And they have also got like an embossing die on that as well. So hopefully you can see that if you do them just on plain paper, you can use an embossing die so you can put some detail on. So that's what I'm also going to be using. I'm going to be using that tonight. So the one with the embossing dies, and I'm going to be using some of the holly leaves right here. So it's a really, really lovely set. So I need to do, well, they come individually, so you can get both of these ones from the annual catalogue. And they are on pages, I want to say, let's have a little look at the holidays one. On pages 92 in the annual catalogue. And the dies will be on a page 165. It tells you where the coordinating poinsettia dies are in the annual catalogue, so which are right there. Paper I'm going to be using now. The reason I love Fun Folds quite a lot actually is the fact that you get to use up your designer series paper. So I'm using another piece of paper like I did the other week, where I just used a whole sheet of 12 by 12. I'm going to be using pretty much a 6 by 12 piece of paper on this one this week, and it's a great way of you using up your pattern paper. Without having to snip into it too much. We're going to be using it all, and it is great. So first things first, I will cut my piece of designer series paper down to size, so I'm going to be working in inches on this one, which will please quite a lot of you, I think. I'm going to be working this one here at, I'm going to take this to 5 3/4 of an inch by 12 inches, okay? 5 3/4 by 12, we can just get rid of a little bit there. And that is going to be all of our card, and then what we need to do is we need to do some scoring on this one here. But I'm going to come back to that one in a moment. I'm going to get my preparations ready, so the whole card, because once the fold's done, the whole card comes together really, really quickly. So what you're going to need to do is we are going to need to do some die cutting and a little bit of stamping. So I am going to grab my box. Where is it? I feel very disorganised tonight without Jay here. It's very odd. I haven't got him nagging me in the ear. So I'm going to need some gold foil. I'm going to need, now I'm also going to be using, this is a red velvet, which is in the annual catalogue, so this is what I'm going to be using for die cutting my poinsettia out. So some gold foil, some red velvet, and I will need some basic white for some stamping, and some scrap bits for some stamping for some holly leaves as well. So I'm going to grab myself some scrap here. That would do quite nicely, I think. Right, so I'm going to do myself a little bit of stamping. Oops, sorry, a bit loud there. So I'm going to stamp myself a couple of holly leaves first. So I'm going to do this in garden green because this is a coordinating colour, which I'm going to be using with the pattern paper. So the pattern paper I'm actually using is the Painted Christmas 12 by 12 pattern paper, which is from the Christmas catalogue. And one of the coordinating colours in it is garden green. So I'm going to stamp 2 of these in garden green, like so. And then another one is Pear Pizzazz, which is the inner colour. So I'm going to just stamp the inner parts of the holly, and then just stamp that like so, like that. Now I've already gone ahead and I've gone and done 2 because I need to die cut these ones out. So I've got 2 cut already, and I will then cut these 2 in a moment for you on camera. So that's those ones. Then what I need to do is, well, for die cutting, is I also need to, let's just grab all of this out. I will need this sprig one, and I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to be cutting a couple of those out in gold, and I'm going to be cutting this poinsettia out here twice in the red velvet cardstock. And you're also going to just need a circle. Now the circle can just come out of some basic white, which is this one here. This is just so what we can do is we can just back it. It just tidies up the back a little bit and just hides where we've attached everything. So this is just more of a cosmetic thing at the back there. It's not a necessity for the card. It just helps tidy it up. So that's what you're going to need. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to die cut my holly leaves first, and I will then go ahead and die cut my sprigs. So I'm just going to take my, I'm just going to cut myself off some of this foil cardstock so it goes through my machine. So how is everyone? So hi Susan, Linda, Cindy, who else have we got there? Good. At least you can hear me now. So I can't believe I forgot to turn the microphone on. I was so organised, waffling away to myself. So I'm going to cut, on this one here, I'm going to cut 3 of these ones out. So this is those sprigs. So I'm just going to literally just pop these into my machine, and I'm just going to cut 3 of these out. I hope we can keep you entertained for your little break then, Susan. Right. If I have to ask for anything and Jay's not here, do I get minus points? Can I take some of my points back? So I just forgot to get myself my toolbox. going to do is I'm just going to then just use these release holes just to then pull out this little sprig right here. So I've got one of those, just need two of them, and then a third one. Hi Betty Bailey. So do please remember to give us a thumbs up and hit that like button if you are enjoying what you are seeing here. It just helps us with YouTube and recommendations, which is good. It just everything goes a little bit, helps us grow our channel, so we'd really appreciate it if you do like it. Please share this video as well with your friends. I love this foil cardstock. It's this particular gold. It's like a brushed. It's a matte gold, which I think is really quite nice. You know, I don't know whether or not you agree with me. Some golds can be a little bit too bright and too in your face sometimes, and I think they just, depending on what you're doing, they can detract from the card itself. Whereas this is quite a nice matte gold. I think it makes it just a little bit more elegant. So there we go. So that's those ones there. So I've got 3 of those ones is what I've gone ahead and done cut. Alright, then what I need to do, I need to do the same with my poinsettias. So I've got this red velvet right here. Let me just move this out of the way so we can see. So I've gone ahead and I've gone and cut 3 of these out. Alright, then what I need to do is I need to cut some of my, actually I do need to cut those ones out first, don't I? I need to cut my holly out. Now, if this was pre-recorded, this part would be all the bits which I would fast forward for you. So that's that. So who has actually already got this set? Have a lot of you already got this set already? Where is Jay? Jay is actually he has gone to watch a recording for a brand new Netflix program. That's all I can tell you because that's all I know. I was meant to be going. Today's Fun Fold Friday wasn't actually meant to be happening because I was meant to be going there, but unfortunately the timings of the recordings changed, which meant I was at work and I couldn't get the coach there. So yes, he's gone to go and watch a recording as a new Netflix show which has been recorded locally to us, and they needed a studio audience, and Jay and some of his work colleagues got some tickets. So that's where Jay has gone. So I've got some holly, I've got my sprigs. I also now need to cut out, just need to find this one. There's a tiny die which I need, which is this one right here, which is going to be for the inside of my flower. So just bring the my gold in again, and I'm just going to cut this out, just one little bit in the middle here. So again, you can have yourself a nice little production line going on here, and just sit there and cut all of these out, make up all of these little toppers which I'm going to be doing. And the fun fold itself is so simple, which is why I haven't actually shown it to you yet, because it is literally going to take us probably about 30 seconds to do it. So that's that. So we have got an inner part for the flower as well, and now we need to do our poinsettia. So I'm just going to snip these in. Now things may just go a little bit pear-shaped in the moment because Tommy is trying to jump over, and because I haven't got Jay here with me to control Tommy, things are going to go off the table. No, Tommy. Tommy, over here. he wants to get on front. He wants to get on the table right here, which is really, really, really bad. So it could go completely and utterly wrong in a moment. So I've just got those down to size, and what I'm going to do, this is the red velvet, so this is it's got a nice pattern to it. There you go. And what I'm going to do is what we did with our dies is that we've got these little marks on them, so it's easy to line up. If you do get them, it's easy for you to line up. So if you can line up your black lines with the black lines on the die, it will make life so much easier for you. So just take the time to get them in position, line up the black, put some black lines with a marker pen, a little Sharpie, and they will go in. You will spend so much less time positioning this and getting that ready, because you can then just pop your poinsettia down, line up the black mark with the black mark, and then you can then run it through your machine. Now I am going to run this through two together because this is on a velvet cardstock, it's not slipping as much. I wouldn't recommend doing this too much on a slippery surface because you may run the risk of the dies slipping and then cutting into each other. And then those dies they're just stunning. They're really, really good. If you just have a little look at that now, can you just see what that's gone and done? So you've got this nice velvet texture to it, and it's got that embossing which has just happened, which I think is just absolutely lovely. I know last year I really enjoyed making lots of these flowers up. They just make some lovely toppers. And the paper itself, yeah, because I've just seen your comment there, Christine, that you've got this set but never used red velvet paper, so yeah, dig it out. It was only because we had a friend pop over yesterday, Sarah, she popped over and she brought her red velvet paper over, and it reminded me that we actually had it, and reminded me of this set again, and I thought, that's why, when I was looking for something for a topper, this set just springs to mind all the time. So what I need is I just need two of those flowers. You've got plenty here, and there are different sizes of the poinsettia in the set as well. So you can then use those other little bits and bobs up if you wanted to, just to finish them up, so they won't go to waste. All right. So that's those pieces. So let me just get myself a little bit of room here. And that's pretty much all of my die cutting done now. All right. Then what we're going to do is I am just going to then just take some glue, and then I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue in the centre of one of these flowers, and then just stick them together and then just offset them like so. I'm just going to see if I can just zoom in a little bit for you. I just need to remember I don't come off camera. So there we go. So I'm just going to stick a little bit in there, and then what I can do with my mini dimensionals here is I can stick one of these mini dimensionals in the middle, and then this part which we cut out is then going to be for the middle part of that flower. Just like there. So you can see that there is a lovely poinsettia, and that's, I don't know, I think it's just stunning. So if you like this velvet paper, it is currently available. Well, it was currently available. It may have just it may have sold out. So I don't know if it has or not, but it is going to be very popular, and it works. It's perfect with these. Right, it's perfect with this poinsettia right here. So there we go. That's that one. Then what we need to do is we need to build this up. So this is where this comes in handy at the end, because what we can do is we can stick everything behind like this, and then we can then cover it up with the circle, and then that circle then gives us something to then actually stick to the card as well. So what we just need to do is we just need to make sure we punch everything out. And and we can then just kind of like stick these things around. So we're just going to make ourselves like a little bit of a flower arrangement. So I just think these red and these gold pieces on here are absolutely just stunning. So some glue on the back, and remember the whole thing will then get sealed in with that circle as well. So we're going to do that one and kind of go do that one there, and then like so. So I'm going to just cross that over, so a little bit of glue on the back like that. So that's those two pieces. So let me just have a little look at your comments whilst I'm waiting for this to dry. Good. Will that velvet be able to cut it out with a punch? Yes, it will. We've done it with a punch, which is fine. But I think somebody has answered that question for you, so thank you very much. Yes, punches will work. So Iniki, thank you very much for answering that question for us. That's good. Hi Angie, thank you very much for joining us. I haven't actually done the fun fold yet, so I'm just literally making the topper at the moment. If I can get this to stick to my, if I can get this to stick, I might have to come back to that part in a moment. Then what I'm going to do is I will then stick like a bit of holly at the back here, and that will probably just give me a little bit more something to stick to it. So it's all about just building this up. And then we can just pop some bits and bobs in. So it's just a matter of doing a bit of flower arranging here now. So we've got those ones in like that, and then I'm going to then just do another one of these sprigs, which is going to go down at the bottom like this. Like that, so I've kind of got a little bit going on at the bottom down there, and then I'm going to have another one of these. I'm sure I had 4 of those a moment ago, but I've seemed to only have 3 now. Did anyone see where my fourth one went? What if I hidden it under? And then we will then just stick that behind that one at the back there. So to do as much or as little as you want on this one. But you just need to just take your time just to try and get these things just to set itself up a little bit. Yeah, the circle is just, because it looks complete and utter mess. Then once we can then just really just tidy that circle bit up at the end there. I think that's what you're on about, Iniki, isn't it? The circle bit just purely just tidies all of that mess up at the back, and then seals everything in as well. Oh, I found the holly. It's fallen on the floor. That's good. So I'm going to do 4 of these. So I'm just going to do another one over here, like so. And I've got my 4th one, which is going to go up here like that. So you've got yourself a nice topper like that. Once you've got all of that in place, grab your circle, some glue on the back of this, and then you can then seal all of that in place. So if any of them haven't quite got enough glue on the back of it, then you're now sealing it all in. Alright, and that's just a way that you can then have your topper like so. Alright, so really simple. I think this is just a great set for doing the topper. There is also these as well. So these are the gold holly leaves, which are actually part of the suite which comes to the designer series paper. I'm not sure whether or not I can get these on. I think they may be a little bit too... I think they may look a little bit odd. So these are like some little holly leaves, so I may be able to, I'll see if I can get these on. So these are just like little pre-glittered little holly leaves, which may work quite nicely. There's some various sizes, so they may work with that one as well. But that is our topper. What I want to do with my sentiment is I want to grab myself a tiny bit of paper here. So I've got a bit of paper, some scrap basic white, and whilst my poinsettia is drying, this here is measuring, let me just let you know, which is measuring 5/8 of an inch wide, okay, and I'm going to use a sentiment from this set as well, and I'm going to use the Merry Christmas here, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit of like a fish tail. So I'm just going to then just cut in like so, and then just do that. I'm going to grab myself some memento, and I'm just going to then stamp this sentiment here in memento. And I'm just going to then just bring this down a little bit so I can see it, and I'm just going to then just stamp this towards my fishtail like so. Hi Julie. Thank you very much, Pat Bling Bling Crafter. Thank you. Oh, Alexa said something. So that's that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm then just going to snip off the end part over here. I would just judge it. I will then just snip down as far as I want it to be, and then just trim off the ends just to get my positioning right, and then just fishtail this back in like so. So that there is another way you can make yourself like another little bit of a banner for your cards if you haven't got any dies or any punches, which is always handy. And then I'm going to need to take myself a bit of cardstock. Let's do this one, and I just need to get this ready and cut for the inner part of the card. And then I will then go ahead and actually do the fun fold. As I said, it's really, really simple. So if I take this to 8 centimeters, I'll just take a sliver off of here. So these are all just cosmetic for things now. You don't, these are sizes which you can work out yourself depending on how big you do your card. So I'm going to take this to 8, which is 2.5 smaller, so 14.6, 13.6, 12.6, 12.1. So which is going to be 8 by 12.1 for the inside of my card. So I've literally got everything ready. I've got my topper, I've got my sentiment ready here. I will stamp my final sentiment at the very end. I'm now ready to do the fun fold part. So as you know, if you're from the beginning part, I cut myself a bit of designer series papers. This is a 12 by 12 designer series paper stash pack, and I've cut this at 5 3/4 by 12 inches. So it's already at 12 inches, so I just cut it in half, or cut it at 5 3/4. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trimmer, and I'm going to score this along the long edge at 2 inches, 4 inches, turn it round and do exactly the same, score it at 2 inches and 4 inches. So that's all you need to do. 2, 4, 2, 4. That's simple. Or you can go 2, 4, 8, 10, depending on how you want to do it. Okay, then what you want to do is you just want to, whilst you've got it in the machine, whilst you've got it in your trimmer, just take your trimmer and just pop a little score line or a pencil mark at 2 3/4 of an inch. So you just want to just something which you can pop a line on. Now it probably would be better for you on the video if I do this with a pencil. Just find my pencil. That work? Yeah, that work. So I'm just going to pop a little pencil mark there at 2 3/4, and the same at the bottom part as well. So leaving it at 2 3/4. Pop it at the top, and then do another mark down the bottom down here. Okay, so you can see I've got a pencil mark this side here and a pencil mark this side over here. And then what I want to do is I then just want to then line up the score line with the center blade, center cutting panel, or the cutting channel, sorry, and the pencil mark, and then cut. So I've got the pencil mark and the score mark, cut that one off. Do exactly the same the other side, score line down to the pencil mark. And then cut. So that's that part. I would say because you're going to be, your designer series paper will be dependent on what you use for this. I wanted something that the poinsettia was going to pop. If I used that side, it got lost. It got lost in that paper. So even though that's a lovely pattern, that side, and we are going to see a bit of that pattern, I wanted to make sure my lighter colour was the one which was going to be more prominent, so my flower, my poinsettia, stands out from it. So this is kind of going to be my inside of my card. This will make sense in a moment. So I'm going to fold the first one back as being a mountain. So fold and burnish. And then we're going to go valley. So we're making it into a gatefold here. And do the same on the opposite side. Do a mountain first. And then do a valley. And that there is your fold. So it is mountain, valley, valley, mountain. Alright. Then with these pieces, the bits which you cut off, you then want to then stick these back on with the opposite side. So you're kind of creating this little bit of a diamond in here. So again, you're not wasting any of this designer series paper whatsoever. So you're just going to then just pop some glue on the back of this. All you'll be wasting is a strip with you cutting it down. But I'm sure you're all talented. You will come up with ideas for that. So you're going to, a strip like this is what you're going to be left with. And if you're making 2 of these out of a card, you'll be left with 2. Unless you take it to 6 inches, then you won't have any waste whatsoever. And then stick that one down. Like so. So you can see there you created your double gatefold card. Then what we want to do is we want to grab our dimensionals once again, and I'm going to grab my snips, which are over here. And I just want to then position this over the top like that. And you just want to make sure that you stick this down on one side only. So I want some dimensionals kind of going on this and down the left hand side or the right hand side, depending on how you want it to stick it and open it. So I will put some dimensionals there. Just be aware that you don't want to be sticking it out too much when you're doing it. Hi Sylvia. The DSP Iniki is the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper, which is that one there, product number 162292, is the paper pack. And then so I'm going to do that on that one, and then I have one in the middle like so, and then I can probably get one more, a small one. Hi Debbie. And then I'll take these off here. And then I will then stick that onto that side, centrally in that panel, but you're only sticking it to one side. So as we open it up, it opens up like this. With your sentiment, we will use some of dimensionals again as well. So I'm just literally, I want to pop this over the center part, over that part there, because again, I think because it's going to be backed with the poinsettia, it stands and it pops from the page quite nicely because you've got that nice red backing. So I'm just going to literally just take some of these small dimensionals and pop these on here. Now again, you only want to stick it to the flower itself, because if you stick it over onto this side, you're going to end up sticking it to the actual card itself. So just stick it to the flower is all you need to do. So you can see the fun fold itself is really, really simple. It's the decoration on this particular card which I think really finishes this one up. Position that one in centrally. Obviously you can use dies if you want for this one. You can use whatever you've got for your sentiment, and that's that. With this one here for the inner parts, all I want to do is I just want to pop some glue on the back of this. It's very rare that I do something on the inside of a card, but we would then just we just position that centrally on the inside of this card like that. I will take my memento. Thank you, Debbie. I'd love to see what you do with it, Angie, if you do case it. So please make sure you share pictures with us. If you're a member of the Crafty Stampers group as well on Facebook, please share pictures of your makes. If you've cased it, if you cased anything, please, we'd love to see it. So I'm just going to take this. So we've got Merry Christmas, May Magic and Wonder bloom this season. I think two of those sentiments work perfectly with each other. So I'm just going to then position that roughly in line with the poinsettia on the inside. Down we go. And that's that. So that poinsettia hides that, and it kind of hides it as well as it stands up. So that there is your card. Then they open it up to that one right there. And that is just literally using a whole piece, or half a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So you can get two of those out. You could knock lots of cards out like this with your fun folds, and it stands up and it looks nice. Very simple, just 4 score lines. But that's then going to sit on somebody's table, and make sure you use something which is then going to make your topper pop from your card, because otherwise if you use something which is too detailed, you're going to struggle, you're going to lose it. So but I like the fact that you can still see, because you've got a light piece there and a detailed piece in the back here. This just really makes it stand out as a real topper. So there we have it. What do you think? Do you like it? Have you enjoyed that? I do hope you have enjoyed that one. So that's that. So I've made 2 already. So that was my prototype, which I made earlier on this afternoon. This is another piece of paper which I was going to use. This was my initial piece of design series paper, which worked quite well, but I still felt this is a little bit too busy. But you could always, if you wanted to, you could always do something like this. You could, I don't know if I've got one already. There's an old stitched circle in here. Well, I'm going off piece now. This is where this turns into what should be only a half an hour video into an hour's video, because I just go off piece. What you could do if you wanted to, if you didn't want to do any stamping, if you haven't got any, if you didn't want to do any die cutting, and you've got a circle punches, for example, this is an old circle stitched circle die which we had. You could always just stamp these. We'll just grab another block here. You could always just stamp these onto an actual circle. Like so. I don't know if this is going to work because I haven't tried this, but try and position one onto the actual circle. So you might want to choose your colours differently if you have got this, because there is some inner parts as well which go with these. So I can then take my inner bits. I need a red, don't I? So I'm just going to go and get me a red. Bear with. So I'll just use a red, and then this kind of goes, again, you just got to work out what the correct format is. You can do that like so, and then you could then add a topper and then a sentiment. So if you've got another sentiment, which you've got, I did have one lying around somewhere. Where is it? No, I don't have it. Is it in there? No. So you could always do something like that and just have that as a real simple topper, and then do something with a, oh, there it is, there's one there if you wanted to. This is one which I felt which was far too big, but you could always do something like that again without actually having to do any. So you've got no die cutting. So if you haven't got if you haven't got any dies, then it doesn't matter. You can always do something with some stamping. Again, I haven't designed this one here because obviously this is what I wanted to actually show you, but you can really step it down if you want to, make it a lot more simpler and go with that. Or you could do, I think the Happy Holidays, I think this particular set, this particular stamp right here, Happy Holidays, will be perfect for something like that, because we can then, I'm just giving you ideas now, this isn't a complete and utter design. So we can take like Happy Holidays there. And then we could, I'm just going to roughly cut this out. Just keep this out as a square or a rectangle even. And then you could then probably pop something like that over at the bottom, so you can then just tidy that up like that. If it's a bit wonky, who cares? As Jay says, embrace the wonk. And then you could do something like that, Happy Holidays, and you could stick that down on like that, and then you could have yourself a simple card, a really simple card. Get some Winkostella in that one there in the middle, really bling up the that poinsettia with some Winkostella, and I think that would work quite nicely. But here we go. This is the start of the show. Let me just clear up a little bit of mess here because it's messy. That there is the start of tonight's show, which is our double gatefold card. That's that. So let's come back over to me. And there we have it. Hope you liked it. So good. So please remember to hit that thumbs up. Oh, starting soon. What's going on there? We don't need a starting soon, do we? You need a... That's the one you need. So thank you very much for joining me. We will be back with you again on Sunday evening, 7 PM. Jay will be here with me this time on Sunday. And yeah, we will be playing, I think, with the Time of Giving stamp set and the Giving Gift dies this week. And I'll be back with you again on Friday of next week, same time, same place, either with a live or a pre-recorded video for our next Unfold Friday. So if you do have any ideas, any requests, do please email us, Barry and Jay at Mitosu Crafts, and I'll see what I can do. So great. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again on Sunday night. And you can just see Tommy just sneaking in down at the bottom down here. He's taking Jay's seat. You say hello. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.